Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Krista. I am a luxury makeup artist and a busy working mom. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how to do an entire look, aside from maybe like your lips and mascara and brows, with just one tool. Can you guess what tool that is? If you want to see how I do it and which tool I'm going to use, then stay tuned. So first I am going to just do my skincare, and as always I'm using Badescu's Collagen Moisturizer. Next I'm using Badescu's Hyaluronic Eye Cream. This is depotted, so this is my little travel eye cream. I'm just going to go all over the eyes here. And I'm just going to let that sit for a few minutes. So while I am letting it sit, I am going to prep my foundation. I'm using the IT Cosmetics CC Plus Natural Matte. This has become my new favorite foundation. The coverage is great, and there's a nice sheen to it. It's not super flat, so it does give you a nice glow, but it's not like too glowy. I have fairly oily skin, so too much glow will make me look like a grease ball. As usual, I am just blending it out, not blending it, but like layering it out so that it is a super thin layer. That's the trick to getting a very natural foundation, or natural looking. And I am using the Beauty Blender. Big surprise, right? I rave about the Beauty Blender all the time. So I'm going to take my foundation and just go all over my face. And as you can see, just like one thin layer created such good coverage. My skin is completely evened out, but it still looks like skin, which is what I love. So I can't rave enough about this foundation. Next, I am going in with my concealers, and this is not concealer technically, it's a corrector and a highlighter. So I'm going to put the corrector, which is a peachy color, right under the eyes where there's some darkness, and then I'm going to put the highlighter just where I have some like recession of my skin. So, you know, get those parentheses, those eye bags. So that will help to kind of disguise it. And again, taking the Beauty Blender, just blending that in. And you want to do more stamping motions, as that will like push it into the area that you placed it. You kind of want to be fairly intentional. It's not like foundation where you're like trying to cover a really large wide area. You're just trying to cover these little tiny lines or areas, and it's not skin tone, so you look discolored. Okay, and that is it for that. Next I am going in with my blush / lipstick, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk in Pillow Talk Original. So I'm just gonna go high on the cheeks. I'm gonna do just a little bit here, and then I'm just gonna kind of blot that on. I don't want it to look necessarily like a full-blown lipstick. This is like a really natural look. And we are going with, I will be using powder products too, so I do like to do the cream products and then go with the powder products afterwards. That way it will look really, you know, like blended and soft. So blush on, again, looks very beautiful, very natural. I love this color I mean, it's like a cult classic. So many people love Pillow Talk because it's a beautiful color, very natural. And there are different colors for different skin tones. Next, I'm going to go in with my Sephora Micro Smooth Powder with the Beauty Blender and just powder down the eye area. So here you want to really press into the skin. We're not really swiping, it's more of an up and down motion. And I do like to go over the eyebrows. I am going to go in with my brow pencil. And this is supposed to be like a super quick look. I only really use this method if I'm in kind of a hurry. I would consider it like your elevated version of your like 5-minute face. Next, I'm gonna take my beauty blender, and then I'm gonna take the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. So this is a bronzer and highlighter. It's one of my favorites. I just haven't had the chance to depot it, but it will be like the next. I'm trying to use everything I have in my kit. I don't want to throw anything away, especially ones that I like, which I do like this one. But I'm gonna put that in my kit as soon as like I run out of my bronzer. So I'm just taking bronzer. Okay, this is the fun part here. Bronzer, and I'm just patting it into the outer parts of my face. So another thing about doing this method is that you really need to make sure your sponge is like most of the water is squeezed out of your beauty blender. So you need to make sure that you really dry it as much as possible, because while this method can work, it can also destroy your powders. Sorry, my dog he's old. He's gonna be 16 this year, and he's a little senile, so he'll just start randomly barking. But I'm gonna use this as a contour and a bronzer. There is some shading there, and I wouldn't necessarily consider it like contouring more than it's like shading. So you want to make sure you're kind of blending into your hairline, just so there's no like odd line of demarcation. Okay, and so I would just, if anything, just go on that 3, like a bronzer. And then for me, I like to just kind of fill in this area with bronzer too, as like a shade. So it's a version of contouring. I feel like it's just like covering a wider area. After that, I'm gonna take a beauty blender, and then I'm just gonna put some bronzer on this tip here. Okay, and I'm gonna just place the tip of the beauty blender into like this area here, so it almost fits perfectly. You just have to be a little careful. It might take a couple of times practicing to get it, really precise. I will place it place it on the lids, and then I will take the bronzer and on the tip again, and then just create that line where you want it to kind of go up, which will lift the eye. And then I just take the very top. So this is the top of the blender, and I just blend in the crease. I'm just gonna go on the other side here. Okay, and then next I'm gonna take the highlighter, same thing, and just place it right on the top of the cheekbones. So everywhere you would normally place highlighter. Okay, and then we're gonna do the eyes as well. So I'm gonna take it on the top of the tip, right here on the arch of the eyebrow. You want to be a little more precise. So just the highest point of the eyebrow, like right here. That's where you want to put it, and then just blend it out. And then I'm gonna take a little bit on the side, like how I did with the bronzer, so you can see it's not a wide area. And I'm just gonna try and put it on the lids to create that dimension there. This is like one of my favorite palettes. You get a ton of product. I mean, look how much product that is. And the colors are gorgeous. So if you have too much, you can always just like pat some off. And if anything, you really like you're having a hard time keeping it precise, just go more on the top, like use more of this area, like lead with that rather than the side of the sponge. That way you can get, you know, kind of more of a precise application. I'm gonna just put some right here on the Cupid's bow to kind of accentuate that that area of the lip. So it's very glowy, as you can see. I think I want to do just a touch more blush, and with that you can always go with your trusty beauty blender. So this, I just have this one here because this is another one that will, oh, this is Deep Throat by NARS, one of my favorites. And I'm just gonna go exactly where I put that blush, the lipstick, I'm sorry, and just apply it there. The good thing about using a beauty blender is it does a really good job at actually blending. So, you know, not only is it's gonna place a very thin layer because it's a sponge. It won't take a lot of product unless, you know, like liquid's a little different story, but powder, it won't take a ton of product. And if you do, you can just kind of, you know, blend it on the back of your hand before applying, but it will leave you with a very nice blended look. You really don't have to do very much. It will do all the work for you. I just wanted to add a little bit more because I feel like it's not showing up on camera very well, the lipstick. Although on most days I will usually just use lipstick. It's very soft. I feel like it looks a little more vivid on camera, but in person it looks very, very natural. I'm just gonna blend. I feel like there's a little bit of blending that I can do. And the great part is the blending is just literally like just pressing. You just press in the same spot and it helps to really blend out, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to blend out. That's basically the full face, and the only thing I have left is mascara. So I'm gonna do that off camera and then we'll be done with the look. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's the finished look. So easy. I feel like this is one of my go-to emergency looks because like switching tools can, you know, add time to your routine. So if I'm just using this one tool, I can just keep it moving and move fast. So I really love this method because it is one of those that are great if you're pressed for time or space in your makeup bag. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful and that you've learned something that you can apply. If there's anything else you want to see, please comment them down below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. My brownies are ready. And I will see you in the next video.